So it's the middle of March break here in Ontario. So trying to record a video in between moments with the kids here at home. It's been a bit of a challenge, but I've got a moment here. So I figured let's do a quick news video looking at what was accomplished last night in the OHL. We're going to start with the London Knights, who have now won back-to-back Hamilton Spectator trophies for being the league's regular season champion. And with that, they've also clinched their sixth consecutive Midwest Division title. So the good times continue to roll for the London Knights organization. And this is a team that's been on a mission after losing in the Memorial Cup final last year to the Saginaw Spirit. This team playing like they've got some unfinished business as they continue to roll along. We're now less than 2 weeks away from the start of the OHL playoffs, and the Knights looking to continue that momentum. And for the Hamilton Spectator Trophy, it was first introduced back in the 1957-58 season when it was the Ontario Hockey Association at the time. And I thought this was interesting. Since then, only 26 teams have won the OHL championship after being named the regular season champion, and 11 Memorial Cups. So just because a team finishes first doesn't necessarily mean this team's going to go on to win the OHL championship, because in junior hockey, anything could happen. And actually, it was 2009 was the last time a team in the OHL won the Hamilton Spectator Trophy, the OHL Championship, and the Memorial Cup. And in 2009, that was the Windsor Spitfires. So I had to, look into that, because I thought that was a little surprising that it's been so long since we've seen a team complete the trifecta. But this London Knights team looking to go against that trend. And of course, they've got a few more games left to go before the end of the regular season. But at this point, they know they're going to finish first in the Western Conference, and they have home ice advantage for the Ontario Hockey League postseason. And the Barrie Colts, they also earned a win last night in St. Catharines, 7-4 over the Niagara Ice Dogs. And with a Brampton Steelhead loss to the Sudbury Wolves, that means the Barrie Colts have won their first Central Division title since 2018. So the Barrie Colts have been struggling a little of late, although the offense came alive last night. The line of Dallin Wakely, Anthony Romani, and Owen Van Steentel came alive at the Meridian Center last night. It'd be a good sign, I think, for this team if what's being called the North Bay line can continue to find the back of the net like they did last night. The Colts, they could be quite the threat coming out of the Eastern Conference. But their first step, of course, here, winning the Central Division, which means the Barrie Colts will finish no lower than second. So some good seeding there, as you know, you're going to have home ice advantage in the first and second rounds at least, depending on how things play out with any upsets along the way. And with that, that's now 3 out of the 4 division winners have been announced. The Windsor Spitfires, they were the first team to win the West Division. And that now leaves the East Division, which I still say it's going to go down to the final weekend. The Brantford Bulldogs right now have 85 points going into this week's action. 3 points better than the Oshawa Generals, who are at 82. And then the Kingston Frontenacs, 5 points back of Brantford for first in the East Division. And when you break down the remaining schedule for these 3 teams, for the Brantford Bulldogs, they're on the road this weekend with games in North Bay and Sudbury. And then they're home to the Brampton Steelheads on Wednesday, March 19th. They then go to Kingston March 21st, and then wrap up the season at home against the Ottawa 67s on the 23rd. So a bit of a favorable schedule, I would think, for the Brantford Bulldogs, but still they need to get those wins to clinch the division. Now for the Oshawa Generals, who are 3 points back of Brantford, they're going to be in Ottawa Friday, home to Sudbury on Sunday, and then the final week, they go up north to play games in North Bay and Sudbury, and then wrap up the season at home against Peterborough. So their schedule kind of similar to Brantford. So unfortunately for the Generals, no head-to-head matchups with the Bulldogs, which would go a long way in this final stretch, but still their schedule looking not too bad. And then for Kingston, who is 5 points back of the Brantford Bulldogs, they have a home game tonight against the Ottawa 67s. They're also home Friday against Peterborough before traveling to Ottawa on Sunday. And then in their final week, they're in Peterborough, home to Brantford, and then they go to Brampton to wrap up the regular season. So for the Kingston Frontenacs, I would give them the edge in the remaining schedule with those 2 games against Ottawa and 2 games against Peterborough. So that's 4 games at least against teams on the outside looking in when it comes to the playoff picture. Plus, they have that head-to-head matchup with the Brantford Bulldogs. So even though Kingston, at the time of recording, 5 points out of first in the East Division, they're not out of it yet and could still make things even more intriguing as we go into the final weekend. So let me know in the comments below your thoughts. Who do you think ends up on top in the East Division? Now, finally, I just want to do a shout out for Angus MacDonell of the Brampton Steelheads. He has signed his 3-year entry-level contract with the Dallas Stars. And for MacDonell, he's got 47 points so far this season, 24 goals, 23 assists. And remember, MacDonell missed a good chunk of the regular season after going down with injury back in October. But when he came back to the lineup, didn't miss a beat, continued to find that scoring, has had some good chemistry with Porter Martone and Carson Rakoff. And remember, he was acquired in that big trade 2 seasons ago from the Sarnia Sting when the Steelheads traded away Del Mastro and Ethan Delbel Blues and brought in Martone and MacDonell in that deal. And MacDonell has been comfortable playing for the Steelheads, and I really enjoy his play. I think if he can make it translate from the OHL to the NHL, he's going to have some, I think, some good success when it comes to professional hockey. So just wanted to mention that here. MacDonell, the recent OHLer, to sign his NHL entry-level contract. So that's how I see it from the booth. Quick little news video here as we're in the March break season. I will be going on the road this week with the Barrie Colts, covering the game in Brampton. Can't wait to go back to the CAA Center. And then the Colts back on home ice Saturday to take on the Sarnia Sting. So that's how things are looking up here. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe, and we'll talk to you again soon.